Good morning, my dear students. Hope you all would have written your test well. Yes. Now we are going to see the second unit. Okay. The name of your second unit is mechanics. What is the name of your second unit? Mechanics. Yes. In mechanics, first topic which we are going to see is there are various branches in physics, namely mechanics, statics, dynamics. Dynamics is divided into kinematics and kinetics. Now we are going to see the definition of those branches. Yes, now see the first topic, mechanics. What is the mechanics? The name of your lesson is mechanics. What is meant by mechanics? Mechanics is nothing but study of effect of force on bodies. What is meant by effect of force on bodies? It is nothing but bodies at rest and bodies in motion. Study of bodies at rest and motion is called as mechanics. What is meant by mechanics? Mechanics is the branch of science that deals with the study of effects on bodies. Study of effects on bodies is called as mechanics. Mechanics is divided into statics and dynamics. Mechanics is nothing but study of effect of force on bodies. Mechanics is divided into statics and dynamics. Yes, what is meant by statics? Statics is nothing but study of motion of objects at rest. The study of motion of objects at rest is called as static. Static in general is nothing but rest. The meaning for the word static is rest. Now what is meant by statics? Statics is nothing but study of objects at rest. Motion of objects at rest. Study of motion of objects at rest is called as statics. Yes, then what is dynamics? Study of motion of objects. Moving objects is called as dynamics. The word dynamics is nothing but moving. Okay, the study of moving objects is called as dynamics, and the study of objects at rest is called as statics. Is it clear? Statics is nothing but study of objects at rest. Dynamics is nothing but study of moving objects. Yes. Now this dynamics is further divided into kinematics and kinetics. Dynamics is further divided into kinematics and kinetics. What is meant by kinematics? Kinematics is nothing but study of motion of objects without considering the cause of motion. This word is very much important. Okay, without considering the cause of motion is called as kinematics. Then what is kinetics? It is quite opposite. Kinetics is nothing but study of motion of objects with considering the cause of motion. Kinematics is without considering the cause of motion. Kinetics is with considering the cause of motion. Is it clear? Mechanics is nothing but study of effect of force on bodies. Mechanics is divided into two types, namely statics and dynamics. The word static is nothing but rest. Then statics is, it is a branch of science that deals with the study of objects at rest. What is dynamics? Objects at moving objects is called as dynamics. Study of moving objects is called as dynamics. This dynamics is further subdivided into kinematics and kinetics. Just what is kinematics? Study of motion of objects without considering the cause of motion. Kinetics is nothing but study of motion of objects with considering the cause of motion. Is it clear? These are all the various branches in science. Is it clear now? Yes. About mechanics we are going to study in this topic. Yes, first topic which we are going to study in mechanics is motion. What is meant by motion? Motion in general is nothing but movement. Movement, the word movement in physics it is called as motion. Is it clear? In general you will be telling the word movement, right? The term movement in physics you will be calling it as motion. Is it clear? Movement is nothing but motion. Yes. Motion is nothing but position of object that can change with respect to time. Position of object changes with respect to time. These are all the various branches that you have in physics. In this you are going to study about the topic mechanics. Okay, the first topic that you are going to study is motion. Is what is made by motion? Motion is nothing but movement of objects. Motion is nothing but movement of objects is called as motion. The word movement in physics it is termed as motion. Is it clear? In physics the word movement we call it as motion. What is the definition of motion? Motion is nothing but it is the position of object changes with respect to time. Change in the position of object with respect to time is called as motion. Is it clear? Change in the position of object with respect to time is called as motion. Is the example for motion is if you are traveling in the bus, there will be trees on the roadside, right? Yes. If you are traveling on the bus, the trees, if you have observed, you would have noticed it. The trees, you find the trees moving backwards while you are traveling in the bus. Have you ever observed it? If you are traveling on the bus, there will be trees on the roadside, right? While you are moving on the bus, the trees, you can observe it, the trees, you feel it, the trees are moving backwards. That is motion. For the person who was standing on the roadside, the trees will be at rest. Is it clear? For the person who was standing on the roadside, the trees will be at the same place. But while you are traveling on the bus, the trees seems to be moving backwards while you are traveling on the bus. This is the example for rest and motion. For the person who was standing in the same place and observing, the trees will be at the same place. The trees will be at the rest position. In the same way, if you are moving on the bus, you can feel that the tree seems to be moving backwards. This is the example for motion and rest. Is it clear? Yes. Next, position. What is a position? Position is nothing but location of an object. Location of an object is called as position. Next, motion of object with respect to observer of the object is called as position. Motion of the object with respect to the observer is called as position. Okay. Next, rest. As I have said before, rest is nothing but the objects will remain at the same place with respect to time. The object will not move with respect to time. Those objects are said to be at rest. Stationary objects. Okay. Rest. The objects at rest are also called as the stationary objects. Yes. Next, reference point. What is meant by reference point? It is the center point. Okay. Center point is called as the reference point. Point from which movement of object is determined. Yes. Point from which movement of object is determined is called as the reference point. Reference point is nothing but the center point. Is it clear? Yes. We have seen what is mechanics. Mechanics is the study of effect of force on bodies. Mechanics is divided into statics and dynamics. Statics is nothing but the objects at rest. Dynamics is moving objects. Dynamics is further divided into kinematics and kinetics. Kinetics is nothing but motion of objects with considering the cause of motion. Kinematics, motion of objects without considering the cause of motion. Next, first topic which we are going to see is motion. Motion is nothing but movement of objects. Motion, the definition of motion is position, change in position of object with respect to time is called as motion. An example for motion we have seen, roadside trees appears to be moving backwards for passengers and stationary for observers. Clear? Next, we are going to see what is position. Position is nothing but location of an object. Motion of object with respect to observer of the object is called as position. Next, rest. Rest is nothing but if the object does not change its position with respect to time, it is called as rest. The objects at rest are also called as the stationary objects. Next, reference point. Point from which movement of objects is determined is called as the reference point. Is it clear? We have seen what is rest, what is motion, and we have seen what is meant by position, what is meant by reference point. Right? Now we are going to see frame of reference. What is meant by frame of reference? The three axes in the coordinate system is frame of reference. The three axes in the coordinate system is called frame of reference. Frame of reference is nothing but in a coordinate system you will have three axes, namely x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. Those three axes are called as the frame of reference. Okay? Yes. If there is only one axis, then the reference point will have only one dimension. So here, if there are two axes, then it has two dimensions. If there are three axes, it is called as three-dimensional objects. Is it clear? If there is only one axis, those objects are called as one-dimensional objects. If there are two axes, those objects are called as two-dimensional objects. If there are three axes, those objects are called as three-dimensional objects. Is it clear? Yes, the axis at the coordinate system is called as the frame of reference. This you might expect in 2-mark question. Okay, what is frame of reference? The three axes in the coordinate system is frame of reference. Yes. Next we are going to see types of motion. We have seen what is motion, right? What is motion? Movement of object is called as the motion of objects. We are going to see what are the various types of motion. Yes, what are the various types of motion? Random motion, translational motion, rotational motion, oscillatory motion. Random motion, translational motion, rotational motion and oscillatory motion. This translational motion is further divided into three types, namely rectilinear motion, curvilinear motion, circular motion. So here there are various types of motions: random motion, translational motion, rotational motion, oscillatory motion. This translational motion is further divided into three types: rectilinear motion, curvilinear motion, circular motion. Okay, is what is meant by rectilinear motion. Rectilinear motion is nothing but motion in a straight line. Their motion in a straight line is called as rectilinear motion. What is rectilinear motion? Motion in a straight line is called as rectilinear motion. Is listen to spelling carefully. R-E-C-T-I, rectilinear motion, curvilinear motion and circular motion. Rectilinear motion is motion in a straight line. What is curvilinear motion? From the word itself it is there, curvilinear. So curved path. Okay, curved path. The motion in a curved path are called as curvilinear motion. What is circular motion? Motion in a circular path is called as circular motion. So here rectilinear motion is motion in a straight line. Curvilinear motion is motion in a curved path. Circular motion, motion in a circular path is called as circular motion. So here is example for rectilinear motion is movement of car in straight road. Movement of car in straight road is an example for rectilinear motion. Yes. Have you ever observed the ants? Have you ever seen the ants in your house? How will the ants move? If one ant go in a line, the other ants will also move with the same line. Okay, the ants will move only with the straight line. Okay, so it is an example for rectilinear motion. Movement of ant is also example for rectilinear motion. If you have not observed it, observe it in your home. If one ant move in a line, other ants will also follow the same line. Okay, ants will move in a straight line. So movement of ant is an example for rectilinear motion. Curvilinear motion, motion of a car in a curved path. If there are lot of curved parts in the road, how will the car move? The car will move the same way. It will move like this. Okay, yes. Motion in a curved path is called as curvilinear motion. Circular motion. Circular motion is motion in a circular path. Rotation of earth around the sun is an example for circular motion. What is the example for rectilinear motion? Movement of car in a straight road is an example for rectilinear motion. Movement of car in a curved path is an example for curvilinear motion. Rotation of earth around the sun is an example for circular motion. Is it clear? Yes. Translational motion is divided into three types: rectilinear, curvilinear, circular. Rectilinear is motion of objects in a straight line. Curvilinear is motion of objects in a curved path. Circular is motion of objects in a circular path. Okay. Example for rectilinear is movement of car in a straight road. Example for curvilinear, motion of car in a curved path. Next, circular is rotation of earth around the sun. Next is your random motion. What is meant by random motion? What is random? They will not have regular pattern. Okay, they will not have specific path. There will not be specific path. There will not be specific pattern. Those motions are called as random motions. Okay, it's motion of a butterfly. Have you ever seen a butterfly flying? How will it fly? Will it fly in a straight line? No, it will go here, it will fly there. So its motion is random. So motion of butterfly is an example for random motion. Is it clear? Yes. Next, translational motion. Translational motion is objects move in an identical trajectory. What is meant by identical? Identical is nothing but same. Trajectory is nothing but path. Okay. This word trajectory means path. Identical is same. So objects move in a same path are called as translational motion. Next is your rotational motion. Motion in a circular path about a fixed axis. About a fixed axis. Movement of fan. The blades, rotation of blades in a fan is an example for rotational motion. Is it clear? Rotational motion is also called as the circular motion. Okay. Oscillatory motion. To and fro motion is called as oscillatory motion. Oscillation is nothing but see to and fro. Have you ever seen the pendulum clock? How will the pendulum move? It will go there and it will again come to this side. Again it will go. It will oscillate, right? So to and fro motion is called as oscillatory motion. Motion of pendulum is called as oscillatory motion. You might have played swing, right? Unjal. Swing is nothing but in Tamil it is called as unjal. Have you ever played the swing? Yes. How will the swing move? It will move to that end and to this end. Okay. Swing also has to and fro motion. So that's an example for oscillatory motion. So here is we have seen types of motion. What are the types of motion? Random motion, translational motion, rotational motion, oscillatory motion. Yes. Translational motion is divided into three types: rectilinear motion, curvilinear motion, circular motion. Rectilinear motion is motion in a straight line. Curvilinear motion is motion in a curved path. Circular is motion in a circular path. Example for rectilinear is movement of car in straight road. Example for curvilinear, motion of car in curved path. Example for circular, rotation of earth around the sun. Next, what is meant by random motion? Motion that have no specific path or pattern are called as random motion. Translational is objects move in an identical trajectory. Identical is nothing but same. Trajectory is nothing but path. Okay. Objects which move in a same path are called as translational motion. Rotational motion. Motion in circular path about fixed axis are called as rotational motion. Next, oscillatory motion is to and fro motion is called as oscillatory motion. So clear? These are all the various types of motion. This you can expect in your detailed answer also. Okay. So read all these carefully with examples. Is it clear, students? Yes. So far we have seen what is mechanics, what is statics, and what is dynamics, what is kinematics and kinetics, and we have seen various types of motion, right? There are various other two types of motion, namely uniform motion and non-uniform motion. Yes, what is uniform motion? Motion in which a body covers equal distance. This word is very important. Equal distance in equal intervals of time. What is meant by uniform motion? Motion in which a body covers equal distance in equal intervals of time. For example, he has travelled 10 meter in 10 seconds. Okay, 10 meter in 10 seconds. Both the distance and the time are same. 10 meter is distance, 10 second is time. Okay, 10 meter in 10 seconds. Equal distance in equal intervals of time is called as uniform motion. So what is uniform motion? Motion in which a body covers equal distance in equal intervals of time is called as uniform motion. Next, what is non-uniform motion? It is quite opposite to uniform motion. Motion in which a body covers unequal distance in equal intervals of time. There it is equal distance in equal intervals of time. Here it is unequal distance in equal intervals of time. For example, he has travelled 20 meters in 10 seconds. 20 meters in 10 seconds. Distance is 20, time is 10. So, unequal distance in equal intervals of time is called as non-uniform motion. Is it clear? Uniform motion is motion in which a body covers equal distance in equal intervals of time is called as uniform motion. Non-uniform motion is motion in which a body covers unequal distance in equal intervals of time. Is it clear? Yes. Next topic which I am going to see is motion in a straight line. Straight line motion. Can you give an example for straight line motion? Yes, as I have said before, the ants moving in a line and motion in a lift is an example for motion in a straight line. Have you ever entered the lift? Yes, you would have entered the lift. How will the lift move? It will move in a straight path. Okay, yes, motion in a straight line. Example for motion in a straight line is motion in a lift. Yes, next, position in straight line motion. Position in straight line motion. How will you calculate the position? How will you know? How can you know the position? For example, this is a line. Okay, this is a line. It has both positive and negative scale. Okay, positive and negative scale. 0. This 0 is the reference point. Okay, center point. As I have said before, reference point is nothing but the center point. This 0 is the reference point. This is positive scale and this is negative. Positive and negative. Yes. See, positive sign represents position in positive direction. If a person moves to this side, this is positive direction. Okay. If this side it represents, it is negative direction. See, that is negative sign. No, this is negative direction and this is positive direction, and 0 is your reference point. Here see, positive sign represents position in positive direction. Negative sign represents position in negative direction. 0 is your reference point. Center point is called as the reference point. Here 0 is the reference point. This is positive direction. This denotes the negative direction. So here this is the position in straight line motion. This is a straight line and scales are marked here as +1, +2, -1, -2. 0 is your reference point. This plus sign denotes position in positive direction. Negative sign denotes position in negative direction. 0 is your reference point. Yes. Next topic which we are going to see is distance and displacement. There is difference between distance and displacement. Yes, what is distance and what is displacement? Distance is movement of object with any regard to direction. With any direction, movement of objects in any direction is called as distance. Displacement is change in position of an object. Change in position of an object is displacement. Distance is movement of object with regard to direction. Yes, formula to calculate distance is delta d. Change, if they have given change, you have to write delta d, which is equal to d1 plus d2. Formula to find distance is delta d, which is equal to d1 plus d2. Displacement is change in position of an object. In mathematics you would have studied, if they have given the word change, then you have to subtract the terms. Yes, change is nothing but subtracting the terms. You have to subtract. See, change in position of an object. Displacement is represented by the symbol x. Delta x, which is equal to delta f minus delta I. Delta f minus delta I. Final displacement minus initial displacement. Displacement, change in displacement, which is equal to final displacement minus initial displacement. This delta f denotes final displacement, delta I denotes initial displacement. Final displacement minus initial displacement. Now see this diagram. See this diagram carefully. A man is traveling from here. He is moving from A to B. This arrow mark denotes the direction. He is moving from A to B and from B to C, C to D. And again he is coming from A to B, B to C and C to D. The distance he has covered from A to B is 3 meter. From B to C is 5 meter. C to D is 3 meter. Okay. Now you have to calculate the distance and displacement. What is the formula for distance? Distance, which is equal to you have to add all the distances. Okay, see, add delta d, which is equal to 3 plus 5 plus 3 plus 5. So what is the distance? Distance, which is equal to add all these. 3 plus 5 is 8. Then 8 plus 8 is 16. Total distance is 16 meter. Is it clear? Distance is nothing but you have to add all the distances. Okay, delta d, which is equal to d1 plus d2 plus d3 D3 plus D4. Add all the distance and the value you are getting is 16 meter. Now what is displacement? Displacement is, this is the initial displacement and this is the final displacement. Initial and final is starting from here and ending at D. Okay, this is initial and this is final. Initial is 3. Delta x which is equal to 3 meter. What is the final displacement? Final displacement is also 3 meter. 3 minus 3 is 0. So the displacement is 0. Distance is 16 meter and displacement is 0. Is it clear? Displacement is nothing but initial velocity, final displacement minus initial displacement. Final is also 3, initial is also 3. So 3 minus 3 is 0. Distances, you have to add all the distances. 3 plus 5 plus 3 plus 5. Total distance is 16 meters. Is it clear? Yes. We have seen what is meant by uniform motion and non-uniform motion. Motion in a straight line and position in straight line motion. This is motion of objects in positive direction, motion of objects in negative direction, and